Steamed hams.
Oh, not in Utica. No, it's an Albany expression.
I see. You know, these hamburgers are quite similar to the ones they have at Krusty Burger.
Oh, no. Patented Skinner Burgers. Old family recipe.
For steamed hams.
Yes.
Yes, and you call them steamed hams.
Expression.
I see. You know, these hamburgers are quite similar to the ones they have at Krusty Burger. Quite similar to the ones they have at Krusty Burger. Quite similar to the ones they have at Krusty Burger.
Oh, no.
From Utica, and I've never heard anyone use the phrase steamed hams.
Oh, not in Utica.
The ones they have at Krusty Burger. They have at Krusty Burger.
Oh, not in Utica. No. Oh, not in Utica. No, it's an Albany. Oh, no, it's an Albany.
Or steamed ham burger.
Oh, no. Patented Skinner Burgers. Oh. Oh, no. Patented
Skinner with his crazy explanations.
at Krusty Burger.
Oh, no. Patented Skinner Burgers. Old family recipe.
Steamed clams.
No, no. Superintendent, I hope you're ready for mouthwaters. Old family recipe. For mouth. Patented Skinner Burgers. Old family recipe.
For steamed. I'm from Utica, and I've never heard anyone use the phrase steamed ham.
Recipe.
For steamed ham. For steamed ham. I've never heard anyone use the phrase steamed hams. For steamed ham. For steamed hams.
Yeah.
Clams.
No, no, I said steamed hams. That's what I call hamburgers.
You call hamburgers steamed hams.
Yes.
Steamed hams.
Yes. Oh, it's an Albany. Yes.
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 Yes. So you call Well, I'm from Utica, and I've never heard anyone hams.
Yes, yes,
Yes, and I've never heard.
yes.
Yes, and you call them steamed hams.
Oh, not in Utica. No, it's an Albany expression.
I see. You know these hams?
Yes.
Yes, and you know these.
Yes.
Yes, and you call them steamed ham.
Call hamburgers.
You call hamburgers.
Yes.
Yes, and you call ham.
Yes.
Yes, and you call them.
Yes.
Yes, and you call them steamed
Oh,
for steamed ham. Steamed ham. Yes, and you call them steamed hams.
yes.
Yes, and you call them steamed ham. For steamed hams. Yes, and you call them steamed hams.
Yes.
Yes, and you call them steamed hams despite the more I made it. You call them steamed hams despite your direction. Ones they have at Krusty Burger. And you call them steamed hams despite the fact they are obvious. Similar to the ones that. You know, these hamburgers are quite similar to the ones they have steamed hams despite the ones they have at.
Yes.
Yes, and you call them steamed hams despite the fact they are quite similar to the ones that they have at. Call them steamed hams despite the fact they have at Krusty Burger. And you call them steamed hams despite the fact that they are obvious. You know, these hamburgers are quite steamed hams despite the fact they are quite despite the fact they are obviously grilled. Seymour, I said these are obviously grilled. I said these are obviously grilled, Seymour. I said these are obviously grilled, Seymour. They are obviously grilled. Seymour. Seymour.
Stretching my calves on the windowsill. Isometric exercise. Care to join me?
Why is there smoke coming out of your oven, Seymour? Seymour. Hams.
Oh, not in Utica. No, it's an Albany expression.
I see. I see. I said these. I Thought we were having steamed clams.
No, no, I said steamed. I said steamed. I said steamed.
I said these are... You know, these hamburgers are quite... I said these hamburgers are quite similar to the ones they have... I said these are... Yes, and you call them steamed hams, despite the fact they are I said these are obviously grilled. I said these are obviously hams, despite the fact they are obviously grilled. I said these are obvious. I said these are obviously grilled. Despite the fact they are obviously grilled. These are obviously grilled. They're obviously grilled, Seymour. 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 The grilled Seymour. Obviously grilled, Seymour. I know you. I know. I said the. I know. Now these hamburgers are quite similar to the one. I know you heard me, Seymour. 4 steamed hams.
Yes.
Yes, and you... I know you called... I know you heard... Never heard anyone... I'm from Utica, and I've never heard anyone... I know you heard anyone... I know you heard me.
Seymour! Superintendent calves on the windowsill. Isometric exercise. Care to join me?
Why? I know you heard
me.
Why is there smoke coming out of your ovens? Heard me, Seymour. I know you heard me, Seymour. Said these are obviously grilled, Seymour. I know you heard me, Seymour. Heard me, Seymour.
Do you know why I care? Do you know why? Do you know why? Do you know why?
I know you heard. Oh, you heard.
Do you
heard me, Seymour?
Do you know? know why?
I know you heard.
Do you
know you heard me?
Do you know why? Do you know why I exercise? Care to join me?
Why is this?
Do you know
Why is there?
Do you know why I care?
I know.
Do you know why?
I know you heard.
Do you know why I care? Do you know why I care? On the windowsill, isometric exercise. Care to join? Do you know why I care to join me? Why I care so much about my fast food and stretching my calves on the. You know why I care so much about my calves? Why I care so much about my burgers? Patented Skinner.
These hamburgers are quite similar to the ones they have at Krusty Burger.
Do you know why I care so much about my burger? Care so much about my burger, superintendent? Much about my burger, superintendent? My burger, superintendent. Superintendent? Much about my burgers, superintendent? About my burger, superintendent? Why I. Do you know why I care, superintendent? Why I care so. Why I take. Do you know why I care so, superintendent? Why I care so, superintendent? Why I take such care? Do you know why I care? Do you know why I care so much? Why I take such care so much about my burger, superintendent? Why I take such care? Superintendent? Why I take such care so much about my. Why I take such care preparing each. Yes.
Yeah. And you call.
Why I take such care preparing each.
And you call.
Each and preparing each and every one. All right, Seymour, this is it. Your one chance to take such care preparing each and every one chance. Why I take such care preparing each and every one. It's an.
One used the phrase steamed hams.
Oh, not in Utica. No, it's an all. One. Oh, it's an all. one. It's an not in Utica. No, it's in Albany. It's in Albany. Why I take such care. Interesting story, really. You know,
You come.
regional dialect.
Uh-huh. What region?
Upstate New York.
Really?
It's an interesting story.
Really?
Each and every one. It's an interesting story, really. You know why? Story, really. You know why? Really. You know. Do you know why I? Story, really. You know why I care so much about? You know, I superintendent. Why I take such. You know, I take such. Fought in. You know, I fought in Vietnam.
Steamed hams.
Oh, not in Utica. No, I fought in Utica. In Vietnam, bled for this. No.
You know these hamburgers.
Yes.
Yes, and you cook
Family recipe.
for
I fought in Vietnam, bled. I fought in Vietnam, bled for this. Fought in Vietnam, bled for this guy. Your one chance to impress the superintendent. Don't blow this. Vietnam, bled for this. Bled for this godforsaken country. There were.
Why is there smoke?
Bled for this godforsaken country.
There's smoke coming out of.
You know, I fought in country. There were days. Watering hamburgers.
I thought we were having steam.
Bled for this godforsaken country. There
We
were.
were having.
I fought in Vietnam. Bled for. There were days when I couldn't tell. There were days when I could. You know, I fought in Vietnam country. There were days when I fought. There were days when I couldn't tell my night. Days when I couldn't tell my. You know why I care so much about my burgers? When I couldn't tell my burgers. When I couldn't tell my nightmares from reality.
What region?
Upstate.
Well, I'm from you. Really? Well, I'm from you.
My nightmares
From you.
from reality. The
Them steamed hams, despite the fact.
nightmares from reality.
The fact.
The smell of it stinks.
Is there smoke coming out of your oven, Seymour?
The smell
Of your oven, Seymour.
the smell of burning flesh and the everyone care preparing each and every one of burning flesh and every they were burning flesh and the smell of burning flesh and the smell of burning flesh and the sight of my flesh and the sight of my smell of burning flesh and the sight of burning flesh and the sight of my there were days when I couldn't tell my nightmare flesh and the sight of burning flesh and the sight of my night and the sight of my nightmare getting blown up by landmines. You know, mines. You know, you can't imagine what that kind of dialect.
What region?
You can't imagine
What region?
you can't imagine what that oh, that isn't smoke. Blown up by landmines. You can't imagine what that isn't smoke. smoke. It can't imagine what that kind of turning flesh and the sight of my best. Can't imagine what that kind of my best. You can't imagine what that kind of trauma does to a.
You know, these hamburgers are quite similar to the ones they have.
You can't imagine what that kind of trauma does.
The ones they have.
I know you heard.
Fought in Vietnam, bled. You can't imagine what that kind of trauma does to a person.
You call hamburgers steamed hams.
Yes, it's a regional. What that kind of trauma does to a regional. I take such pride in my. But maybe. But what if? But what if? Trauma does to a person. But maybe that's why. But maybe that's. I said steamed hams. That's what I. But maybe that's what. Maybe that's why. About my burger, superintendent. Why I. But maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I. But maybe that's why I take. There were days when I couldn't tell my. Days when I couldn't. In country. There were days when I couldn't. Maybe that's why I couldn't tell my. That's why I take. Maybe that's why I take. Maybe that's why I take. Why I take such. But maybe that's why I take such care. Maybe that's why I take such. Why I take such care. But maybe that's why I take such care. But maybe that's why I take such pride in my. You know, I fought in Vietnam. I take such pride in Vietnam. But maybe that's why I take such pride in my.
I know.
The smell of burning flesh and the sight of my best friend. I take such pride in my best. Pride in my food. Purchase fast food and maybe that's why I take such pride in my food. It's one pride in my food super much about my burgers super pride in my food superintendent. One, it's an interesting superintendent. It's an interesting story, really. You know, I fought in Vietnam, bled for this godforsaken country. There were days when I couldn't tell my nightmares from. It's one thing in. It's one care preparing each and every one. Pride in my food superintendent. It's one thing in this. But maybe that's why I take such pride in my food superintendent. It's one thing in my food soup. In this. It's one thing in this. Smell of burning. You know, I fought in Vietnam, bled for this god. It's one thing, my food superintendent. It's one thing in this god. It's one thing in this crazy.
Skinner with his crazy explanations.
Superintendent. It's one thing in this.
Crazy explanations.
I can control. So it's one thing in this crazy world that I. It's one thing in this crazy world that I. That's why I take such. But maybe that. You can't imagine what that kind. This crazy world that kind. That I. This crazy world that I can control. But maybe that's why I. World that. That's why I take such. This crazy world that takes such. Person. But maybe that's why I take such. In this crazy world that I take. That I can control. So, do you know why I care so much? Do you know why I care so much about the world that I can control? So much about can control. So if I want to. But what if? What if? Can control. So if. Control. So if I control. So if I want crazy world that I can control. So if I want to call. Imagine what that kind of trauma does to a person that I can control. So if I can control. So if I want to. can control. So if I want to call the yes,
Yes, and you call them steamed
control. So if I want to call world that I can control. So if I want to call these hamburgers old family recipe.
for steamed ham.
I said these are obvious.
Control. So if I want to call
These are obviously grilled steamed.
that I can control. So if I want to call these hamburgers
You know, these hamburgers.
so if I want to call these
Hamburgers.
so if I want to call these hamburgers steamed
Hams.
yes,
Yes, and you call them steamed ham.
control. So if I want to call these hamburgers
Steamed.
I can control. So if I want to call these hamburgers steamed ham
Hams, despite.
yes,
Yes, and you call them steamed hams.
call these hamburgers steamed
Ham.
So if I want to call these hamburgers steamed hams, then that's what I'll But maybe that's why hamburgers steamed hams, that's why call these hamburgers steamed hams, then that's what I'll You can't imagine what that kind of steamed hams, then that's what that fucking do. Hams, then that's what I'll fucking do. Do you know why I can't fucking do you know Excuse me for one.
I know you heard me, Seymour.
Excuse me.
Seymour.
Excuse me for one second. Excuse me for one second. Fought in Vietnam, bled for this God. Excuse me for this God. Excuse me for one second. Take such pride in my food, Superintendent. It's one thing in this. Excuse me for one thing in this.
Of course.
Excuse me for one second.
Of course.
And imagine what that kind of trauma. Imagine what that kind of trauma. Excuse me for one second. Of trauma does to a person. But maybe that's why I take such pride in my food, Superintendent.
Of course.
Oh, patented.
You know, these hamburgers are quite similar to the ones they have at Krusty Burger. Anyone use the phrase steamed hams?
Oh, not in Utica. Oh, well.
Really? Well, I'm from U.
Oh,
Well, I'm from U.
well, that was one. In this food, Superintendent. It's one thing in this crazy world that I can't. Oh, well, that I. Oh, well, that was wonderful. Oh. Windowsill. I submit. Superintendent, I was just. Superintendent, I was just. Oh, well, that was just. Oh, well, that was wonderful. Good time was had. Oh, well, that was wonderful. Good time was had by all. Friends getting blown up by landmines. Good time was wonderful. Good time was had by landmines. Oh, well, that was wonderful. Good time was had by all. I'm pooped.
What region? Well,
good time was had by all.
I'm from Utica.
Good time was had by all. I'm pooped. Good time was had by all. I'm pooped.
Yeah.
Superintendent. It's one thing in this crazy world that I can control. Good time was had by all. I can control. Had by all. I'm pooped.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
By all. I'm pooped.
Yeah. So